So we've now looked at sources of data, where we get data. And we said that we get them from official statistics, we get them from big data, we get them as small data, we have real-time data, and we also have citizen-generated data. So this is an important part, the data collection part. But we also have to process the data. We have to manage the data. And in some sense, the problem really is in the management of data. The government collects huge amounts of data, but do not process them, at least not all of them. Or at least that they could gain more insights if they process them more. So why are they not doing it? Part of the problem is the distributed nature of data in the public sector. Some say it's more complex than the private sector. So governments have multiple databases with varying access points, locations, and architectures. And they face security issues of regional, national, and international concerns. In fact, sometimes even in individual ministries, there are multiple databases, and that agents within the ministry, they are not able to share that data. So that problem is confounded because governments are composed of many ministries. Right? So you could imagine that the data is there, but somehow there is a problem of sharing the data, there's a problem with processing the data. So data governance and data management are keys to ensuring data accessibility, reliability, security, quality, and timeliness. What is data governance? Data governance is the comprehensive process for controlling the integrity, use, availability, usability, and security of all data owned or controlled by an enterprise, in this instance, government. It is a system of decision rights and accountabilities for information-related processes executed according to agreed-upon models which describe who can take what actions with what information and when, under what circumstances, using what methods. So really, it's identifying the entity or the person who can make decisions and is accountable for the data that government holds. Now, I ask you, in your government or even in your agency, who is that person? Who is responsible for making decisions about data? Is it an individual like the minister? Is it a committee? Or does everybody have that responsibility, which essentially means everybody does what they want? The goals of data governance are as follows: to define, approve, and communicate data strategies, policies, standards, architecture, procedures, and metrics. To track and enforce conformance to data policies, standards, architecture, and procedures. To sponsor, track, and oversee the delivery of data management projects and services. To manage and resolve data-related issues, and to understand and promote the value of data assets. So there must be someone or a committee in the organization who will make sure that there are standards that are followed. There are standards, that those standards are followed, that they promote, that everybody understands the standards and value the standards. On the other hand, data management is the development and execution of processes, architectures, policies, practices, and procedure in order to manage the information generated by the organization. So it encompasses acquiring, validating, storing, protecting, and processing data to ensure accessibility, reliability, and timeliness of the data for its users. Why do we want to manage data? Because we want to improve the awareness and understanding of what data are available for current and future use. resulting from better cataloging and data archiving. We want to have improved access to data, free from unnecessary obstacles, safeguarded from disclosure of personal information or infringement of legal and contractual obligations. We want to have better quality and more timely information. Better value for money resulting from clear, fair, and consistent data charges and conditions of use. Better exploration of data generally, enabled by easier data exchange and integration with other harmonized data. And efficiency gains across government and its agencies resulting from the use of better quality data. So, data governance is about how decisions are made and how people and processes are expected to behave in relation to data. Data management is the implementation of the above, which is ensuring that goals and values defined through data governance are implemented. So in order to understand data management better, I recommend that you look at the Data Management Association Data Management Book of Knowledge, or DM Book for short. There are 10 knowledge areas in DM Book. First is data architecture. Second is data modeling and design. The third is data storage and operations. The fourth is data security. The fifth is data integration in interoperability, document and content, reference and master data, data warehousing and business intelligence, metadata, and data quality. Essentially, if you really want to have a good way of managing your data, that is ensuring that you have high quality data when you need it, you have to address these 10 knowledge areas. Now you may say, that's a lot, and in fact it is. You don't have to do all 10 at once, right? You can choose which is the most important for you at the beginning, but understand that if you really want to have reliable, quality, accessible data, you have to address all 10 eventually. DMBOK 2, the second edition of the Guide to Data Management Body of Knowledge, is a collection of processes and knowledge areas that are generally accepted as best practices within the data management discipline. So let's go through them with some detail. The first is data architecture. So a data architecture identifies the data needs of the enterprise, in this instance the government, and designs and maintains the master blueprint to meet those needs. It's just like building a house. You have to have a blueprint to build a house. The same is true with data. You have to have a blueprint that defines data requirements that you use to guide data integration, control data assets, and align data investments with business strategy. The second area, the second knowledge area is data modeling and design. So we have data architecture, we now have data modeling and design. This is the process of discovering, analyzing, scoping data requirements, and then representing and communicating these data requirements in a precise form called the data model, right? So you want to discover, analyze, scope your data requirements, and then present them in a form called data model. The goal is to confirm and document an understanding of different perspectives, which leads to applications that more closely align with current and future business requirements. So the applications comes after you have an understanding of data that you require, right? You don't start with the application, you start with an understanding of your data requirements. And the data requirement is not just for current use, but also for future use. Then comes data storage and operation. You architect, you model, you store. Here, it involves the design, implementation, and support of stored data to maximize its value through its life cycle, that is from creation to disposal. There are two sub-activities in data operations: database support and data technology support. After data storage and operation, you look at data security, or the planning, development, and execution of security policies and procedures to provide proper authentication, authorization, access, and auditing of data and information assets. So I cannot underscore the importance of data security. I think we've had enough experience of data breaches to underscore how important it is that we protect the data that we hold. After data security, the next issue is data integration and interoperability. Data integration and interoperability describes the process related to the movement and consolidation of data within and between data stores, applications, and organizations. So this knowledge area is really about data sharing. How do you enable the sharing of data within the ministry and between or among ministries, right? So let's take the example of conditional cash transfers. So normally, the cash transfers are made if certain conditions are fulfilled by the recipient. And normally, the condition is ensuring that their children go to school. So government will give you a cash grant if you keep your children in school. So this is an investment of government in human capital. That means, however, if you're the one implementing that, is that you will be working with two agencies, at the very least. The agency managing the system, usually the social services, and the agency in charge of the education system. Now, if you add a further conditionality, like that the same children who must go to school must also get a regular health checkup, then you add a third agency. So for you to manage your conditional cash transfer program, you have to be sharing data among three agencies: the social services, the education, and the health ministries. The problem is three databases, sometimes they're in three different formats. Data is stored in different formats. So it's not easy to share information. So if they send you the file in PDF, then you have a problem, because you will still have to scrape the data. You have to take additional process for you to be able to use the data that was sent by another ministry. The solution normally is an interoperability framework. So at the beginning, you define that all ministries save the data in a specific format that is reusable, so that programs such as conditional cash transfer are easily implemented, even if they require the participation of three different ministries. So that is what falls under this issue of data integration and interoperability. After that, there is documents and content. This is about controlling the capture, storage, access, and use of data and information stored outside relational databases. So data that we have is both structured and unstructured data. So document and contents falls under unstructured data. So these are usually reports written about sub-projects. Now, these are not statistics. These are not numbers. Most of them are qualitative assessments, and we need to have access to them as well, because we want to be able to analyze them as well. And that knowledge area is called, in DMBOK 2, documents and content. The next area is reference and master data. This is about managing shared data to meet organizational goals, reduce risk associated with data redundancy, ensure higher quality, and reduce the cost of data integration. After which, you think about data warehousing and business intelligence. So data warehousing is the process of constructing and using a data warehouse. A data warehouse is constructed by integrating data from multiple heterogeneous sources that support analytical reporting, structured and/or ad hoc queries, and decision-making. Business intelligence, on the other hand, is a technology-driven process for analyzing data and presenting actionable information to help executives make informed business decisions. So you create a warehouse and you analyze what is in your warehouse. That is data warehousing and business intelligence, or more formally, planning, implementation, and control processes to provide decision support data and support knowledge workers engaged in reporting, query, and analysis. Metadata is data about data. It is a set of data that describes and gives information about other data. Metadata summarizes basic information about data. And this is important because it can make finding and working with particular instances of data easier. The final knowledge area in the DMBOK 2 is data quality. It's the planning, implementation, and control of activities that apply quality management techniques to data in order to assure it is fit for consumption and meets the needs of data consumers. So we are all worried about quality. We're not just interested in getting the data when we need it. We're interested in ensuring that the quality of the data is high so that we can make better decisions. And that is the 10th knowledge area in the DMBOK 2. Now, how do you measure progress? How do you know that you are able to manage your data well? Well, there is also a methodology for that, and it's called the Data Management Maturity Assessment. So there are 6 levels in the Data Management Maturity Model. Level 0 means you have no capability. Right? Level 1 means initial but ad hoc, which means you probably use a limited tool set with little or no formal data governance. Level 2 is repeatable. You now use consistent tools and role definition to support process execution. Your government begins to use centralized tools and to provide more oversight for data management. Level 3 is defined. Emerging data management capability, introduction and institutionalization of scalable data management processes, and a view of data management as an organizational enabler. Level 4 is managed. Standardized tools for data management from desktop to infrastructure, coupled with well-formed centralized planning and governance function. In this level, you have measurable increase in data quality and organization-wide capabilities such as end-to-end data audits. At level 5, or optimization, you control the proliferation of data to prevent needless duplication. You have well-understood metrics to manage and measure data quality and processes.